Peace. It's the Hood Mystic, El Melchizedek. The Trick to Money is Having Some, Chapter 6, Cliff Notes. I'm going to just share this real quick and get with the build. There we go. There we go. Sorry for the delay, but here we go. Chapter 6. So today we're going to be dealing with a metaphysical approach to making money. So metaphysics, we're taking life from the inside out, as opposed to physical living or unconscious living. We're not trying to be right or say what you're doing is wrong. We're just trying to give different information and see if this can benefit you at all, and see if this can be added to what you're already doing. With that being said, we're going to deal with some universal truths. We're dealing with the fact that every event in our life is created by us, and these events come through us through our feelings and our emotions. So our emotions is likened to water if we're dealing with metaphysical concepts. Since we are water beings, we are 70% or more water beings, then a lot of our lives have to do with emotions. Like, an example is, if I ask you today what happened at work, and if nothing eventful happened, nothing made an emotional imprint, you would literally say that nothing happened. So if a certain event happened that triggered your emotions in some way, then at that present time you would be able to tell me about it. But a year later, I could ask you what happened April 24th, 2017 at work. You probably wouldn't know all the details, but that emotional imprint would still be there. So understanding the emotional imprint is something that we're going to deal with today. The main concepts that we're going to be focusing on is conscious living versus unconscious living. So what does it mean to be conscious? Conscious living is us examining ourselves and living our lives as such through the inner knowledge of ourselves and doing what's right for ourselves. Unconscious living is us examining the outside world and judging our lives by what we see on the outside. So Wallace D. Wattles, he talks about just because you live in a particular neighborhood doesn't mean you have to have a particular set income. No matter what neighborhood you're in, you can have somebody on the left of you that is extremely wealthy, and the person to the right of you that is, living check to check and is about to get evicted. You just don't know. So we have to consciously and constantly be the initiators or the spark to our lives and to our environments and things of that nature. We can't let our environments define us. Only we can define us. So being conscious is defining ourselves first and foremost. And like I said, water seeks its own level. So if we deal with the emotional part of our lives, we're 70% water. So if we identify ourselves emotionally as wealthy, water seeks its own level. So over time, we would ascend to that. It will start off as an opinion, but generally it will become a fact of nature, a fact of our lives that we are wealthy. So it starts with that emotional identification of such an opinion that we want to turn into a fact one day. But we have to first identify and align with that emotion. We understand that everything that happens for a reason, and that reason is our emotional vibration. And once we understand that, our lives begin to make sense. And we begin to take control of our lives because we take control of our emotions. And it's not so much as what we're doing, but it's as much as how we feel. So if we feel strongly about that thing, then that thing, by the very nature of it, is coming to us. But it's a way, but we talk about that in chapter 7. But this, we're just dealing with building up our energy and understanding that we are powerful, that we are positive, and that we're sure of accepting of our spiritual selves. And we're not letting anything distract us from our spiritual self and our spiritual work. See, a lot of people throw out this word distracting, but what are they distracting you of? They are distracting you from you being a spiritual being, and they are relegating you to a human existence by saying that you have mental health problems, by saying that you are violent, by saying that you are angry, by saying that it's a problem because you are you, because you're a woman, because you're a black man, because you're a Hispanic male, because you're a Mexican. Like, whatever thing that they use to classify you is not necessarily true for yourself. So we always need to be cognizant that people are going to stereotype you and typecast you, but that's not necessarily true, because there are rich black people, there are wealthy black people, there are wealthy Hispanic people, and the list goes on and on and on. So the difference between us and everybody else is that we are using our intuition daily. We're practicing intuition, and we're living a spiritual life first and foremost. And we concentrating on the feelings and emotions that bring us wealth and freedom. And we are giving, and we are treating others as we see ourselves. So you see the wealth in other people, you see the love in other people, you actually see the freedom in other people, because the conversations that you're having, they're aligning with how you feel and your ideals, and you're having more conversations dealing with your truth, and thus you are aligned with your spiritual truth. And then because you are beginning to become blessed by the different experiences and the different feelings that you have. And this is why ultimately over time we intellectually deal with the concept of wealth, but we still can be broke, and we feel as though that the law of attraction isn't real over time, because we are dealing with the mental aspect of law of attraction, and we're not dealing with the emotional aspect of law of attraction. That's why money comes and goes and you can't figure it out, and you live check to check, because you're not emotionally attached and you're not spiritually attached to your money. So you see your paycheck as something besides abundance. And once you finally do get money, it's already gone, because you imprinted yourself with povertish ways of thought, ways of being, and ways of action. So once we align ourselves with the emotion of abundance, then we do things a little differently. And even if we find ourselves broke, it's very simple to get back into the flow, because we can go into nature and we can see the abundance. We can go drive around and we can see the abundance of this world. And we understand that we're provided for. And that's really all we need. And we can't, once we get one, we have to be comfortable with getting 2, and 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8, and 8 becomes 16. But in the process, we have to still have an abundant mind as we go from block to block. We don't deal with the fear. So we have to constantly, as things become good for us, we have to constantly give our testimonials. We have to constantly tell about the good things that's happened to us, because we have to become a beacon for this thing called wealth, because reality is there's not a lot of people supporting you being wealthy. They might be wealthy themselves and require you to pay them for certain types of information, but there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, that's still not teaching you how to be wealthy. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to encourage individual wealth. See, my perspective is I deal with the subconscious mind, and I realize that the subconscious mind does not see you and me as different. So therefore, in my teaching, I have to inspire wealth in others. Therefore, by doing that, I inspire wealth in myself, because I'm dealing with the true subconscious mind, and I'm dealing with the true universal laws that everything is mental. And if everything is mental, everything is subconscious. So I have to begin to look at people as myself. Conscious living is also realizing that people can also bring your energy down, especially if you're not conscious of it, that you're having spiritual goals and you have a spiritual path. You would just deal with anybody. So it's so hard to build your energy up. It's so easy to take your energy down, that is necessary that we conscious of the people that's we bringing into our lives, because we understand that once we eliminate this negative energy, that's allowing this positive energy and these things to happen faster for you. And it's so much easier to destroy than it is to create, that your one step forward is not equal to one step backwards. You take one step forward and then you take 2 steps backwards. So you have to be conscious of your energy day to day, to be mindful of this consciousness, and really spend some time in dealing with yourself, your psychic self, and your meditation, and really dream journaling, and really developing a conscious life for yourself, and being conscious and journaling, and really discussing and having the conversation. Like, if you don't have anybody to talk about wealth with, or different ideas with wealth, you can always talk to me, because I need that. I need those conversations, different ideas that you just want to throw around. Like, we need to have these conversations, because we need to be thinking as merchants. Because if we look at the world and how it's played out, the people who actually run the world, if you look at the Medici family, what the Medici was, they were not a part of government at first. They were simple merchants. And the government didn't believe in merchant activities. They were just dealing with the people and things of that nature. So these merchants, they started off in Rome and spread it out to Egypt and spread it out to Greece. And, eventually spread out through the whole world, just dealing with trade routes and things of that nature, and being the connect or being the plug. And they eventually made enough money that they began to buy government. But I'm not saying that at this point that's viewed as the Illuminati or the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. These people are looked at as evil, but it's simple buying and selling that got them to where they were, because people at one point, an entrepreneur was just looked at as one step up above a peasant. It wasn't much like a lot of glory in being an entrepreneur, even like it is today. Like, even your family, they'll promote you to get a job. They will not promote you to start a business, nor will they help you, nor will they invest in you, nor will they buy shit from you. So it's important that you have to build your own personal energy, because it's so much easier to destroy than it is to create. So we have to be so much more mindful when we dealing with this wealth, because it's so much easier for them to take you out of it. So it's important that, we spend hours and we spend days and we spend months and we spend years developing our crafts and building our things, whether it be crystals, whether it be herbs, whether it be selling things, whether it be a particular service, whether it be a product. It's important that we become experts. It's important that we become great, because what's necessary is that we stand out and get this money. So generally, in order to get to wealth consciousness, we have to go beyond our fear, because that is the root emotion that is blocking all of us from, amassing fortunes, is because we're afraid to take risks. We're afraid to invest, because we rather deal with instant gratification, whether it be buying food, drugs, or entertainment and things of that nature. So we have to redirect and redistribute our money and focus it more on wealth, because over time, that fear is going to settle in. So, but if we do the actions and a year of proper investing, then that fear part of us is neutralized, because it's like, well, look, this is what we did. a year ago, and look at what we got. So let's continue to build that energy. And it's all about buying land. It's all about buying property, improving property, selling for a profit, buying automobiles, buying any type of good that you can make a profit off of, because that's energy at the end of the day. Understand that personal opinions, are generally facts. So I have an example. If you hate the library and I love the library, to you it's a fact that the library is awful, but to me it's a fact that the library is resourceful. But you're true in your belief and I'm true in my belief. So when it comes to wealth, we have to have the first opinion that we are becoming wealthy, because eventually that opinion will become a fact. So now it's possible rather for us day to day to incorporate different ideas of wealth into our feelings and let nothing stop us. And the things that we do, the places that we go, the friends that we have, the way that we dress, the way that we carry ourselves is letting the universe know, we're putting the universe on notice that we are on our way to becoming wealthy. And if we're not wealthy now, we're becoming wealthy, because the way we carry ourselves, and because we dealing with excellence and we dealing with quality. The information is abundant, the life is abundant, and so we manifest abundantly, and we letting the world see just how great it is when you make the decision for yourself and you choose abundance and you choose beauty for yourself, and your world becomes more beautiful and your world becomes more abundant fit. That's key. And once again, going back to the beginning, is conscious living. And once you understand that, you choosing the life that you want to lead from the inside, and that you're dealing with your emotions and you're dealing with the larger part of you, because you're 70% water. So you're dealing with your emotion, your water, and you understand that water seeks its own level. So therefore, you're dealing with wealth, and you're speaking wealth into your existence, and you're starting there first. And now you know that water seeks its own level, so you know that the world has to now meet you. And unconscious living is that now you have to meet the world, and maybe you meet it, maybe you don't, but when you conscious, the world for sure has to meet you. And see, this is the distraction, and this is why they're distracting you from spiritual living. They know that your soul is actually larger and more powerful than the world that you're actually in. So the trick is to make you value this world more than you value your own soul. And if they can get the majority of people to value the world rather than value the spirit or the soul that dwells within you, because it's much more powerful than this world that we live in. That's a fact. But because what we deal with, when we deal with that soul, we actually alter and change the world from what they set it out to be. It be completely different. And then you like, damn, everything that we learned in school was bullshit, and we didn't need none of that shit. But yet and still, we don't see the magic in our day-to-day experiences. But ultimately, it's important that we begin to deal with and understand our spirit, and really aligning and telling our spirit the life that we want to experience, and have it be vice versa, where life tells us, well, since you're a black male, since you're a black woman, you this way, you that way, you this way. But if we're not dealing with the inside, then we're not even dealing with those experiences no longer, because water seeks its own level. So once we deal and say, look, I'm dealing with this wealth, I'm dealing with this freedom, and I'm not even settling for less, then life comes and be like, well, this is, once you ask, you shall receive. And that's a universal law as well. So just understand that everything is available to you. But the way that you access it is through emotion, and not just one day, it's daily. And it should impact your thoughts, which then should impact your actions over time. And then we become wealthy. And that's a fact. So that was chapter 6. I already did the notes for chapter 7, so I'll drop those probably tomorrow. So hope you enjoyed the video. Feel like it was some good information, but I'm gonna continue to share and continue to be consistent with my message. But if you have any questions or you want to talk about wealth in any form, any shape, or any way, feel free to message me or comment on this video. But with that being said, y'all have a good night. Peace.